Good morning! Another way of solving quadratic equations is by using the quadratic formula. So how do we solve quadratic equations using quadratic formula? The solutions of any quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, can be determined using the quadratic formula. X is equal to negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, where a is not equal to 0. To solve any quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0 using the quadratic formula, determine the values of a, b, and c, and then substitute this in the equation. X is equal to negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And then, simplify the result if possible and then check the solutions obtained against the original equation. Let's have an example. Find the solutions of the equation x squared plus 2x minus 15 is equal to 0 using quadratic formula. For step 1, write the equation in standard form. So the equation is already expressed in standard form. Step 2, determine the values of a, b, and c. So in the given equation, the values of a, b, and c are a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, and c is equal to negative 15. For step 3, substitute the values of a, b, and c in the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is given by negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So we will substitute the values of a, b, c in the quadratic formula. So we have negative b is equal to 2 plus minus the square root of b, we have 2. So 2 squared minus 4 times the value of a, which is 1, times the value of c, which is negative 15. All over 2 times the value of a, which is 1. So the next step is to simplify the result. So we have negative 2 plus minus the square root of 2 squared is equal to 4. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4 times negative 15, that is positive 60. All over 2 times 1 is equal to 2. So we have negative 2 plus minus the square root of 4 plus 60 is 64 all over 2. Next, we have negative 2 plus minus the square root of 64 is 8 all over 2. So for x sub 1, we have negative 2 plus 8 all over 2. For x sub 2, we have negative 2 minus 8 all over 2. So let's simplify. Negative 2 plus 8 is positive 6. 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. And then for x sub 2, we have negative 2 minus 8 is negative 10. Divided by 2, that will give us negative 5. For the next step, we check the solutions obtained against the original equation. So we substitute 3 and negative 5 to the original equation. So as you can see, positive 3 and negative 5 satisfy the original equation. Therefore, they are real solutions of the quadratic equation. Let's have another example. Find the solutions of the equation 2x squared plus 7x is equal to 4 using the quadratic formula. Step 1. Write the equation in standard form. So if we are going to write the equation in standard form, it becomes 2x squared plus 7x minus 4 is equal to 0. Step 2. Determine the values of a, b, and c. So in the given equation, a is equal to 2, b is equal to 7, and c is equal to negative 4. Step 3. Substitute the values of a, b, and c in the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula is given by negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So let us substitute the values of a, b, and c in the given formula. We have negative the value of b, which is 7, plus minus the square root of b squared. So we have 7 squared minus 4 times the value of a, which is 2, times the value of c, which is negative 4. All over 2 times the value of a, which is 2. Next step is simplify the result. So we have negative 7 plus minus the square root of, so we have 7 squared is equal to 49. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8, times negative 4 is positive 32. All over 2 times 2 is equal to 4. So this will give us negative 7 plus minus the square root of 49 plus 32 is equal to 81. All over 4. Let us simplify. Negative 7 plus minus the square root of 81 is 9 all over 4. So for our x sub 1 or the first solution, we have negative 7 plus 9 all over 4. For our x sub 2, we have negative 7 minus 9 all over 4. So here, we have negative 7 plus 9 is positive 2. 2 over 4. So if we simplify this fraction, we have 1/2. So x sub 1 is equal to 1/2. For x sub 2, we have negative 7 minus 9 is negative 16. Negative 16 divided by 4 is equal to negative 4. Next step, check the solutions obtained against the original equation. So if we, as you can see, if we substitute the values of 1/2 and negative 4 to the original equation, they satisfy the given equation, which means that 1/2 and negative 4 are real solutions of the given quadratic equation. Okay, let's have another example. Find the solutions of the equation x squared plus x is equal to 1 using the quadratic formula. So for step 1, we need first to express the given quadratic equation in standard form. So it becomes x squared plus x minus 1 is equal to 0. Next step is identify the values of a, b, and c. A is equal to 1, b is also 1, and c is equal to negative 1. Next step is that we will substitute the values of a, b, and c in the quadratic formula. X is equal to negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So we have x is equal to negative the value of b, which is 1, plus minus the square root of b squared. So we have 1 squared minus 4 times the value of a, which is 1, times the value of c, which is negative 1, all over 2 times a. A is equal to 1. Now let us simplify. Negative 1 plus minus the square root of 1 squared is equal to 1. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Times negative 1, we have positive 4. All over 2 times 1, 2. Next, we have negative 1 plus minus the square root of 5 all over 2. Now we have, for x sub 1, we have negative 1 plus square root of 5 all over 2. And for x sub 2, we have negative 1 minus square root of 5 all over 2. So these are the two solutions of the quadratic equation. Negative 1 plus the square root of 5 all over 2 and negative 1 minus the square root of 5 all over 2. Next example. 4x squared minus 4x plus 1 is equal to 0. So the equation is already expressed in standard form. We can now identify the values of a, b, and c. So in the given equation, a is equal to 4, b is equal to negative 4, and c is equal to positive 1. Next step is we substitute the values of a, b, and c in the quadratic formula, negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So we have x is equal to negative the value of b, which is negative 4, plus minus the square root of b squared. So we have negative 4 squared minus 4 times the value of a, which is 4, times the value of c, which is 1, all over 2 times the value of a, which is 4. So negative times negative 4, that will give us positive 4, plus minus the square root of negative 4 squared is 16. Negative 4 times 4 is negative 16 times 1, negative 16. All over 2 times 4 is equal to 8. So we have 4 plus minus the square root of 16 minus 16 is 0 all over 8. So for our x sub 1, we have 4 plus 0 all over 8. For x sub 2, we have 4 minus 0 all over 8. Let us simplify. 4 plus 0 is equal to 4 over 8. In simplest form, that will be 1/2. For x sub 2, 4 minus 0 is 4 over 8. In simplest form, that will also give us 1/2. So as you can see, the given quadratic equation has only one solution, and that is 1/2. So that is how we solve quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. Thank you very much for listening.